Today we're going to talk about the surface area of rectangular prisms. Here are a couple of examples of rectangular prisms. Well, a rectangular prism is basically like the shape of a Kleenex box or a shipping container. And if we think about this box, we realize this box is made up of simply rectangles, and that the rectangle on the bottom or the base is exactly the same as the top. The rectangle on the front is exactly the same size and shape as the one on the back, and then that the two sides are also exactly the same size and shape. They're rectangles that have the same dimensions, and again is the same on a shipping container. Let's take a look and talk about what surface area is. Well, it's the sum of the areas of all the surfaces or faces of a three-dimensional figure. Well, think back to that Kleenex box we just looked at. It had a top and a bottom, a front and a back, and two sides. So it had a total of 6 faces. So the surface area of a rectangular prism would be the area of all those faces added together. Well, we have a formula that makes it a little easier for us if we just plug the numbers in and then solve or simplify the formula. So we have surface area is equal to 2 times the sum of length times width plus length times height plus height times width, and remember, area is always in units squared. So let's take a look at our first example. Here we have a rectangular prism. It has a length of 11, it has a width of 5, and it has a height of 6. Now we can imagine the other faces. So we've got the bottom here, and it has a corresponding top. We have the front, which has a corresponding back. And then we have the right side, which corresponds with the left side. So let's just take a look at this and go ahead and plug it into our formula. So when we plug it in, we're going to end up with 2 times length times width, which would be 11 times 5, length times height, which would be 11 times 6, and height times width, which would be 6 times 5. Now, parentheses, we've got to take care of that first. So we've got multiplication and we have addition. So we're going to go ahead and we will do the multiplication first. So 11 times 5 is 55, 11 times 6 is 66, and 6 times 5 is 30. Now we need to go ahead and find the sum of this. When we find the sum, we realize that 55 plus 66 plus 30 is 151. Our last step on this would be to go ahead and multiply by 2, which gives us a surface area of 302 centimeters squared. So all the faces, the area of all those faces together equals 302 centimeters squared. Let's take a look at one more example before we move on today. On this one, we have a rectangular prism. It has a length of 4, a width of 9, and a height of 6. So let's go ahead and plug it in, and when we plug it in, we see that we have 2 times 4 times 9 plus 4 times 6 plus 6 times 9. Remember, we got those from length times width, length times height, height times width. We've got to do the multiplication first. So when we do the multiplication, 4 times 9 is 36, 4 times 6 is 24, and 6 times 9 is 54. Now we need to go keep simplifying inside the parentheses, so we're going to find our total. When we get our total, we have 114. It's still inside brackets. There's still a 2 on the outside, which means we have to multiply. Well, 2 times 114 is 228, which means we have a surface area of 228 feet squared. I hope this helps you a little bit on today's assignment. And as always, if you need any help, be sure to reach out to one of us.